this is Photography Gamer. Welcome back to the channel. In today's episode of the Virtual Photographer's Guide, we're revisiting the Red Dead Diaries. The Red Dead Diaries is an 8-part mini-series I produced using Red Dead 2 and the vintage camera. I hope you enjoy the series, so sit back and enjoy the ride. If you press R3, you can do a self-portrait. Now, the first thing to consider with that is when you press R3, the camera will appear right in front of where you're facing. And so the first thing to consider with that is height. Because if you're standing on a flat surface, it will just be parallel to you. But like here, if, for example, I want to have a different perspective, so I want a low to high shot, I go on a high level, face down, and if I can press R3, I'll do it. So as you can see, the camera's down, so I can tilt up. And then you can get like a different perspective shot. You can get more of a kind of like a atmospheric one. You can change your poses with the left and the right on the D-pad, and the expressions with up and down. I quite like the one where you're looking away because it kind of gives you a sense of like mystery. Like as you can see, because we've got the camera at a low angle, there's nothing behind the character, so we have a clean light sky, so we get a nice outline of the character and that pillar, post, whatever it is. So yeah, we could do a shot there, which is like get the eye line 2/3 up. Okay, so let's try that. That looks like an okay one. That's our first shot. Other ways to take pictures in this, you can go into first person mode, take off all of the HUD elements, and that's just like a super wide angled lens, so you could just take pictures of what you're seeing in front of you. That's a good tip. So here there's a nice strip of street here. Let's see what we can do. Can we do... It's very clunky because you kind of have to like walk into the right spot to get the shot. So let's get the camera out. This is a nice pathway with the light. See here we can't do a self-portrait. This is one of the frustrations. There are many times you can't because it seems like collision detection becomes an issue. So we're in first person mode here. This is a kind of a nice way of taking really wide shots. So assuming there's no on-screen stuff, things do pop up now and again, but here generally we can frame without having too much distraction. We can move the feet. That's quite a nice one. Can we just frame it nice so we get the nice leading line up to the church? I think that looks okay. That could be a shot right there, so I'll screenshot that. That's nice. Moody. Good, sort of like it shows the leading line up from where we are to the distance to give a kind of perspective of a journey through the image, like a sort of a diagonal line. That's a good way of taking pictures. One thing I'd say about the photography in this game is it's more like real life, because most computer games, the photo modes are quite easy. I think they're made for beginners because you can freeze time and move the camera anywhere in the frame. Now in real life you don't have that luxury because time continues to move. So in this game you've got to be aware of your surroundings. You've got to be aware of what's happening, who's moving, where are they moving, where you are. Like when I do real life photography, like you don't go to a place once. You go to a place many times at different times of day because you get different weather, you get different light sources and different shadows. So, but what I'm saying is, if you go to a town, there's a nice shot, but something's not quite right, maybe come back to it at another time of day. Maybe go sleep in one of the hotels and come back at a different moment, because places change depending on when you're there. And Red Dead is real time. There's no pausing during photo mode, so that's one thing you should look at. Also, don't beat yourself up if you can't get the shot, because sometimes you just won't be able to get it. Like interiors are quite problematic, I find. So like I like shooting through things, like shooting through windows. Yeah, one thing I'd say is don't be afraid of the foreground, because a lot of people look at the foreground and want to get things out of the way, but sometimes you can use the foreground as a framing mechanism. So here I'm using the bars to frame her in between. So here, for example, we've got these two characters having a chat. Can I frame them within the window frame? Because then you're creating a frame within a frame. So yeah, as you can see, sometimes you can't even hold the camera handheld. Sometimes you can't do a portrait, like That's not too bad, not too bad. This guy's just ruined it. This is the thing, it's like real life. When you take pictures in real life, sometimes things don't work out. Like the mist now is distorting the image. The sheriff is giving me shit now in the background. That's another thing to consider in this game. If you're taking photos, people don't like it if you're just in their space too much. So if that guy left, that could be a good shot, but perhaps not. Perhaps not. The sheriff, calm down. Can we just calm down, please? What are you doing? Oh, see, look, I didn't want to do this. He brought it on himself. Now they're shooting at me. What is... I'm a photographer, leave me alone. Come on, take me down. Bang. Right hook, left. Okay, so I managed to survive the punch up and get away without being murdered. Thank God for that. So we're out in the wild now, and I found this little spot here. We've got 2 islands, we've got a house, we've got a nice lake, a nice clean background, we've got boats. This is one of the reasons this is a very frustrating mode, because there's no real way of telling where you're going to be accurately. Like you can, but it's really clunky. Maybe doing it in first person is better. See, why you can't move here, I just don't really understand. Like you should be able to move within the frame, but it won't let you, so it's quite annoying. See, that's a nice shot, but I always feel having a person in the shot gives it more context. Like landscape photography, I'm not a huge fan of. I don't mind it, but let's do this self-portrait. So we're doing it on an incline, so the camera will be there. It feels not quite right, so maybe we'll go higher so that the incline is less, so it won't be so high to low. Let's try that. I think that looks better. I think that's better. We can maybe turn the character around. That's nice. I like that. That's kind of got the balance between where the character is, kind of sort of nicely placed in between all of the objects in the scene. It's just how we frame it. I think we've got a boat as well there coming into shot on the left. These are little details. I try and make the distances work. See, now I was going to do a shot here, but it looks like the weather's turning. This is another frustration because you can't pause time. You know what's going to happen. So let's just see how this plays out. One thing I would say, you need to be more patient in Red Dead when you're taking pictures, because sometimes things can happen like weather, but maybe just ride it out. Maybe this storm will get really bad and we can maybe try and get some lightning. I've never had lightning shots. Okay, the weather has really turned, I think we're going to get lightning. So lightning, you really just have to kind of almost anticipate it. It's about timing and just kind of being very quick. Like now the framing is done, so this shot's ready. I'm just waiting to see. I just took a shot there, but I'm just waiting to see. Bang, there you go. Oh, that's a nice one. Fortunately, the lightning is a little slow, so we can maybe get a couple like that. So this is why Red Dead's different photography-wise to other games, because most games you just pause the game, take the shot, and you get on your way. In this game, you have to have a... The game is quite slow in Red Dead in general. It's very tactile. You have to do a lot of manual labour and things. And the photography is very much in keeping. There you go, another one. That's nice. So you need to be patient. You need to have patience and you need to wait sometimes. Okay, so nighttime. Nighttime's also a good time to take pictures in this game, and obviously at night most of the activity is in the town, so head to the saloon and see what you can do, because there's a lot of light sources. You've got lots of interesting shady characters like here. Framing through the window, we tried earlier. Let's see if we can get one this time. So we have like one of the ladies of the night having a cigarette, it looks like. Can we frame this to get a kind of a nice frame within a frame? Let's get a bit closer. So we're in first person mode. First person mode I like for setting up the shot, then entering the shot, because you can kind of set your feet cleaner than in a third person. Sometimes the focus lock is tricky. Like once you've focused on something, just press L1 and it will lock it in place. But when you're shooting through windows, sometimes it can become complex because it doesn't understand that you're trying to take pictures of what's in the distance. But that's atmospheric. That could be interesting. Okay, we'll try and do another one here. See, it's weird. It looks good there, but then you enter the camera and it's different. So let's zoom right in. She just leans over, looks into the distance. Okay, let's frame quickly. Okay, wait till she's looking forward. Not yet. It's a nice red colour there. It's a shame you can't do self-portraits indoors much. It's kind of restricts you because of all the... It seems like the walls have a boundary. You can't go too close to take pictures. You can do handhelds, but what can we do in here? Let's have a look. So let's slowly walk in. Okay. We can maybe take another shot of the lady on the balcony. Let me frame it. Let's put her to sort of one side so we have a kind of like a nice sort of balanced context. Let's frame, focus. Okay, wait a sec and just... Portraits, a lot of the characters don't look very interesting, but there's certain NPCs that have a little bit more detail. They're the ones who have like dialogue. So this, he's moving a lot. So can we get one of him where he's just kind of in a nice position? So we'll just, again, like he doesn't seem too bothered. He's not going to start a fight. So we'll just kind of frame it, focus it, and then just wait. You just wait for the right configuration of how you want him to be positioned. Now this is where you'll probably have to do 5 or 6 quick shots, because when you're dealing with movement, it's always complex. It's always kind of slightly hit and miss. You just have to kind of almost anticipate the moment he's going to have the right position. So he's talking a lot. Okay, that one's okay. Yeah, a bit of action with his hand up. That one's probably nice because he was still there. He wasn't like going on too much. So I think that's a good one. But yeah, the saloons are always good for lots of characters. Drunk people, people playing cards, people chit-chatting, having a drink. Really, just when you're taking pictures, you just keep moving. That's my advice. Just keep wandering, looking for points of interest, looking for interesting characters, looking for the way the light impacts the shot. You know, there isn't a photo in every moment. So we're using the first person view, which is good for framing because you can almost frame it without having the camera up. That's a nice boat. Can we get 2 boats in one? Let's see. Zoom. Wait for that boat, little boat to be kind of a bit further on. Not yet. Now, see, I always try to get them equidistant between each other like this, so you get objects that are within objects, so it has a kind of almost like a symmetry. It kind of makes the image feel like more settled, like everything is in its place. Okay, we are still in Saint Denis. So that wasn't, the boats are interesting. I'm looking around, there's not like anything jumping out. Okay, we've got 2 guys now that seem to be where we were earlier. This is nice because you've got conversation. You've got 2 characters that are just chilling, having a chat. They're framed well between, you've got the boats either side, you've got the boat in the distance, you've got the water, you've got the trees, you've got the wooden floor at the bottom. It's really just to find composition. Like I would maybe frame it a little bit more to the left perhaps. So we're trying to lock the focus on. The focus is tricky. Okay, so let's frame it how we want it framed. Get out of the way. Okay, we've got this boat. We're going to wait for this boat to be nicely in the middle between the dinghy thing and the boat. Once it's in the middle, that will kind of be the shot. So hopefully no one will walk in front. So we're nearly there. Just wait. We'll just wait. It's a nice shot. We've just got to wait. There you go. Nicely balanced. I think that one will be good. Okay, we're out in the wild again and we're by the river, and I think this could be, the sun seems like it's on its way down, so can we do some self-portraits with the tripod using the river and the boats and stuff. Again, it's very it's not user-friendly at all doing this, like, because you're basically stuck there. Like, why can't I move my character? It doesn't make any sense. The tree's nice, the character's nice, it's just we would need some boats kind of in the middle. Could be a nice shot. Maybe we'll take one of that. I don't know. Looks okay. Maybe we should get closer to the tree. Maybe we should go upriver a bit. Okay, we've done one there. Let's see what else we've got upriver. Okay, so the sun is coming down. So obviously when the sun sets, you have a limited time, so you need to be quick. When the sun's setting, you've got to react fast, otherwise you will miss things. So I like these trees. Can we use these trees with the character in between to silhouette the character? That's the ideal. Obviously the trickiness becomes in the placement because it can be very minute in detail. Can we let's try between these two. This could be nice. R3. So we're just off a little bit. So we need to move to the side a bit. Let's try again. And we've got it way wrong there. This is the really annoying part of doing the self-portraits. Don't give up, but obviously with sunset your time is running out. We've fucked it up again. Oh Christ. Okay. Well, do we want this shot? Let's try one more. This is so so annoying, so annoying. Yeah, we can change the pose, but it still doesn't make it really what I saw. Like the image I saw when we came to it, it wasn't quite what I'm looking at. So let's... Sun's going down. Okay, well these trees look nice, so these are filtering the sunset. Maybe, like that one looks nice. The sun's at a really nice level. Let's try and get under that branch. Just in the right position, and then we'll self-portrait it from behind us. So let's get the camera. Let's self-portrait. Let's look into the distance probably, because we might get a really warm glow. Obviously when you're taking the pictures you can't see the orange, but it is orange. Okay, we want to lose this sort of twiggy stuff on the left because it just looks a bit rubbish, looks a bit pixelated. We don't want that in there, so let's go tighter. A little bit closer, so it looks like a really nice shot there. Oh, the light is really bumped up right now. Look at that. That's like really gone like there's a lot of bloom in there, a lot of kind of like lens flare. That's a nice shot. Let's get another one. Okay, really warm colours. Okay. The light is probably moving on now, so can we change position? I feel like the light is changing now because we're getting really close to sunset. Like so we're losing it. So the impact there looks like it's kind of faded a bit now. So we might have to abandon this very soon. I feel like it's gone already. Yeah, the sun has moved, so that big orange impactful kind of glow has moved on, so we need to... Okay, in this situation the only thing you can do really, we've got to chase down the sun because there's a riverbank to our left. So with the riverbank we can probably get a sunset on the horizon if we can get to a point of interest. So let's see what we can... Okay, we've got some interesting trees here. Maybe, so we've got a nice line here right up to the horizon using the river as a kind of a diagonal. Can we... Obviously we're time pressed here, so this is kind of pressure. That's not good. Okay, we need to get closer to that tree. Maybe standing almost right next to it. Okay. I think we want to look into the distance because then it's more like we're observing the sunset. Okay, we've got a boat as well, so like let's frame. Okay, we've got a nice diagonal bit of framing there. We've got the boat. Let's wait for the boat to get to the second third of the image, and when it's there we'll snap it. So we've got a nice line of focus from left to right. We're nearly there. Okay, it's now. There you go. Good morning, welcome back. This is chapter 3 and this is the morning after the night before. We took some nice sunset here yesterday and now we are going to just head on up the river and see what we can see. What can we do today? Okay, we are, I'm not sure where we are, but there's a nice little, is it a veranda? I guess they call it, or I'm not sure what the name is, but it looks nice. Can we go inside and use this nice decorative framing to frame a distant shot of the river with a boat with some trees? So, and we're using first person to frame, which is a good tip, I would say, because now I can see it would work. Look at that, it's framed. We get the camera out. We could do that as a wide angled shot. It's kind of a nice atmospheric. It's a shame someone's not sitting there, but what can you do? Okay. That's a nice shot. It's nice, calm, peaceful, sort of like a tranquil moment. Like there, we could take a picture of those trees, just like that. Maybe it's a bit dull. Maybe we need some kind of a boat. Let's go closer. So I like the silhouetted patterns. That gives it some kind of framing. So there's a boat coming. There you go. I think that's quite a nice shot. But I think we're done here. Let's see what else we can find. Okay, it's raining. We've found some trees. This looks familiar, like a part of the main story where there's that long avenue with big thick trees. What can we do with that? Maybe we can do a nice leading pathway, like a diagonal leading path, to sort of create the emphasis of making it interesting for someone to look at and want to walk down. Okay, let's try and do a selfie. Can we do a self-portrait here? Or no, let's do this first. Okay, let's try and get the bottom of the road in the bottom right and the top of the road near the top left, so it creates a kind of a diagonal line across the framing, so it's kind of like a pathway. Okay, that's a nice shot. It's just an atmospheric shot. There's a bit of fog. That's quite nice. So yeah. Okay, so we're on the train. I would recommend using the stagecoaches and the trains to get around sometimes, because on the horseback it can take forever. And if you want to take action, the cities are where to be. So we're coming into, where are we? Saint Denis. I think we're in Saint Denis. So we've gone to some of the back streets. There's people with cafes, people looking out into the distance. Let's see if we can get someone having a cigarette, maybe silhouetted or part silhouetted. To create a silhouette, you just need some bright area with something standing in front of it. Because if a silhouette basically comes from a light source and an object, and you being the other side of the object. So the light is one side, the subject's there in front of you, and you're looking at the subject. So obviously the light can't hit both sides. So here we have a good example of some nice silhouettes. The hat. This guy leaning on this post. Maybe we could, maybe we can get a shot of him having a little cheeky cigarette. Okay, we've locked in the focus. We've got these two chaps having a chit chat.
Howdy. And how are you today? I got no stomach for this old life.
Okay, maybe when he's holding the cigarette up next, we will take the shot. See, that could be a good shot, but I feel like him smoking just gives it something extra. So I think that's nice. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so there's a lot of signage in this game. Obviously no smoking. Fuck the rules, that's what I say. So here we've got a nice foggy day, which creates a nice white background. So we've got the trees, we've got the posts, we've got the smoking and the silhouette of the character, because we've got a clean background. I'm not convinced this is a great shot, but we might just do one of him having a little cheeky cigarette here. I think that's better. Let's change his pose. So let's get the cigarette out. Let's do that. Next one, I think. Again, it's slight framing issues because he's kind of blocking the sign. We want him a little bit to one side. It's not bad, but yeah, this is the problem with your self-portraits. You're going to have to really micromanage the positioning in order to get nice kind of clear borders on the character. by the time you get it, it might just have changed. The lighting might not be there. So that's quite a nice one maybe. When he's moving, like, we've got to take one at least of this. I don't think that's the best shot we could have got. We've got another one there as he moved, and we've got another one there. So, you know, sometimes you just got to be patient, wait for the characters to find the right position. So, okay, moving on. Okay, a couple of guys playing cards. I like how it's a symmetrical shot. You've got the lighting. Let's line up nice and straight to them. We've got shadows, we've got directional light, we've got face-to-face, confrontational. Let's just tighten it in so it's really just emphasizing them. Okay, can we focus lock? Just so we're focused on them, not the background. I think that's quite a nice little shot there. Do we want the train in the shot or not? I don't know. Let's wait for the train to leave. I think it's creating a bit of blur on their faces, like something to do with the graphical issues there. I'm not sure. So let's wait for that train to pass. Take the shot and then we will wrap this up. There you go. Nice, nice shot. Well, it's been a tough session today, so we're having some well-deserved R&R. Really, this game, the best way to play this game in photo mode, forget the missions, just go on your horse and wander, go to the towns. Don't even, like, my character hasn't even eaten in days, so just go out there and just take pictures, because the only way you're going to take pictures is by exploring. The more you explore, the more you'll see, the more you'll be able to create, so continue to do that, and hopefully the tips, some of the advice and tips and framing guidance I can give you will help. Some guys playing poker, maybe we could take a shot of this. It's a nice symmetrical, 5 people, we can center them. It's moody, it's not like incredibly fascinating, but it's kind of a nice action shot of like people just enjoying kind of some of the saloon life. Okay, that's a quick one there. Okay, what else can we see? So, okay, let's try the upstairs. There looks like there's some interesting light up there. Who's up here? Okay, this guy's very interesting. He's kind of like on his own having a drink. He looks like he's like got the troubles of the world on his shoulders, having a beer. Let's focus lock on him. Frame him at the bottom left, kind of like almost reverse 2/3 framing, and then have a leading up to the distance. So it's a nice scene, a nice shot of the kind of environment, moody lighting, just one guy and a beer in an empty bar hall. Let's do a couple of shots of that. There's a nice red light over there. I like that. What can we do with that? Can we use it? This is where, this is frustrating because look, I can't press L2 to do a handheld shot. So let's do a first person shot. We'll just have to crop it later. We'll use the window to frame the 2 chaps on the street. We've got the red light. We could cut that later on. So let's do a screenshot of it once we get it right. So the camera, yeah, it just won't let us take the camera out, I don't think. No, it's a real shame because that's a really nice shot, really leading kind of atmospheric shot. So yeah, well, we'll go first person and we'll screenshot that. So it's just framing them in the middle of the window pane really with the light. It's just nice shot. But so Blackwater, the morning has come. We've got a nice sunrise coming. We've got nice sort of semi-silhouetting on the boats. We have these sort of wooden things coming out. Can we take some shots here? Just before sunrise is always interesting because you get a little warm glow but not too much. I think that moment's gone. See, if I could move my feet now, I could follow him up the river and take some different shots, but unfortunately you can't do that. So that moment's kind of gone. We'll let that one go. We got one, which I think was nice, but we've got the sunrise coming, so we just need to We need to find something. Can we take like a self-portrait here? Well, what we want to do, we want to do a self-portrait looking into the sunset. Maybe even with the horse. Let's just try one here. Like, see, we can't seem to do self-portraits here. It won't let us do the R3 button. Why, oh why? I have no idea. It's so pointlessly annoying. I suppose on a slope they won't let you, but then we've done it before. I mean, this could just be a nice shot, just like a symmetrical kind of centered sunrise with the boat in the middle. We'll go in, wait for the boat to just be right under the sun. We've got the silhouettes of the wood, nice gradual shadows in the distance. It's nice. Wait for the boat. We got that one. That's okay. It would be better if there was a person there to give it context, I think. But it's still a nice one. Okay, let's come up here and try and do a self-portrait. The horse is there waiting for us. Can we maybe even use some of the people who are walking around? Possibly. Possibly. I feel... Maybe. Let's... that guy could be interesting. That's maybe a shot. What's he doing? Is he going to stand still? If he stays... that. Okay, sitting down's not helping us. Nice shadow on the horse, nice silhouette of the horse's upper body. I think when you get good at Red Dead photography, you'll get better at photography in real life because you can apply these principles to that. Okay, I need to move again to the right. Or maybe not. He's in a nice position. Stay there. This is good. That's good. See how it just feels balanced? All the silhouettes together. That's a shot. Horse, calm. That's it. That's a nice shot. We've maybe missed the boat a little bit there. Literally and metaphorically, because the boat went behind the pillar. Maybe this looks nice. Like we've got this rowboat. Okay, let's wait for... That's okay, that could be square. Let's get the rowboat to the left. Okay, we've got to be quick here, because this is going to go... Bang. Get that one. There. Nice. Another one. Okay, we've got two options there. That was nice, because we've got the silhouettes of the wood and the two boats. Gives a bit of atmosphere to the shot. Okay, we are... I don't know, we're near New Austin, I think. We're up on a ridge, so I like that little mound in the waterfall area, so we're going to try and get down there eventually, but let's try and do a portrait here. We'll probably need something like a slightly elevated area to put the camera on, just so we can get all of that nice river and the background. It's just trying to frame it in a way that gives it a bit of mood, a bit of atmosphere. Try not to block off the background. I don't like the crouchy stuff. It looks weird. It looks like he's a hunchback. Okay, maybe we'll try a bit higher. That's nice. We've got a nice clean view. He's not blocking too much. Maybe we can go a little bit to one side. With these self-portraits, like, I think it's difficult to do a proper portrait because you can't actually move the camera, you can't really get it dynamically kind of close, but you can do portraits within landscapes. This is kind of like a landscape photo with a portrait within it. So it's just trying to find something that looks right. Maybe like, again, we're using that kind of diagonal approach where you have the bottom left and the top right, or vice versa, using a diagonal line like it's a visual story. So framing wise, we're just not getting it here. I think we need to sort of stand up and go wider again. Okay, I think I like that. Let's try that. I think that could work. Yeah, so I think framing wise it's nice, and it's just, again, it's waiting for the moment where your character is doing something interesting, not just standing there. Sometimes standing there's fine, but when they're in a different pose they have different actions, so that's a good shot. Okay, now I think we want to get on that little mound, that little island. Can we do it? Can we do it? We may not get a good shot there, but we're going to try. Obviously we can't swim with this character, so we need to use the horse. Oh, there's a nice eagle there, or a falcon or something. Alright, so like, let's try and find a nice spot to do a landscape photo. So we'll get very, very, very close to the edge. And we'll look down so there's nothing other than just background, you know, the environments. Okay. Let's try that. Landscape photography is not my favourite, but this game does have, especially in New Austin, you've got some nice big desert arid landscapes, so that's quite a nice shot. Again, it's just trying to focus everything into the, get everything framed so it has an interesting impact. So we are out in kind of we're still around New Austin. We just mosey on down. We got a nice little area by the river here, so we're going to head down here, take a couple of shots, and then head up the river and see what else we've got in store for us in this location. Right, let's take some pictures. So what have we got? Let's have a look. I always find the water areas are kind of nice. We could maybe here possibly do like a sort of some sort of a landscape photo. You can't seem to do self-portraits on this part of the river, like on the narrow spaces, which is quite annoying. That could be a nice shot. You've got the leading line from the pier. Got the kind of canyon in the background. Let's try and do a shot of that. Just kind of trying to compose it in a nice framing so we have a bit of space. So it has a nice balance to it. That looks good, I think. Yeah. Okay. So, when you're out in the wild, I would say look for little structures, little buildings, because you never know how you might be able to use them, because they can sometimes create interesting lighting effects when the sun's moving. They might also have some small details that you could use. So this one, it's like an abandoned house. Let's have a look. What can we do in here? I'm immediately drawn. This window is just like an interesting kind of frame within a frame. We have a bottle. Can we take a picture of the bottle? Let's try and get the bottle so it's nice and silhouetted on the water without the background grass. Obviously we'd need to focus lock. Can we do that? Doesn't seem to be working. Let's try the wall. Okay, we have it. Is this a good shot? Maybe. Let's try. Let's just try one. Okay. So we're going to try a self-portrait again. This is one of those situations where it's just try and get the camera in a position that's going to work. Here we haven't quite got it. We want to get the bottle in with the character, but obviously we haven't really got it here, so we're going to have to adjust. Come to the left slightly. Let's see if we've got it. Maybe that's better. It's just finding a nice composition, really. I think him having a cigarette with the bottle of alcohol in the background is a nice sort of it tells a little story. He's in this like little house. He's having a little break almost. So I think we'll frame it. This side looks a bit rubbish with the wall, so the other side looks more interesting. So we'll get the eye line 2/3 up. Wait for him to have a little smoke on the old cigarette. Nearly there. Okay, just once when he has another swig, smoke of the cigarette. Okay, that's a nice shot. Very warm. You could do a couple here while he's smoking. It's a nice kind of portrait. Okay, so we've got like 2 or 3 there. We can try like closer ones. We are working with restrictions here, so we're just trying to... What can we do with what we've got? That's a nice shot, scratching his chin. We've got the nice sort of bottle in the distance. Okay, I think we're done with this one. Okay, we're on a nice high level here, so I think we're going to try and do a landscape photo and then maybe a landscape with the character in. Can we do that? Like the New Austin area is a great area if you want to take portraits, like not portraits, landscapes, because you get these very high areas. You can get nice sort of panoramic long views of the scenery. That could be nice. That could be nice. Okay, we've got a nice little panoramic portrait there. Couple of those shots. So what else can we do here? The sun's going down, so let's head that direction. Obviously this game, it's like real life in that things sometimes only appear for a brief time in terms of taking a picture. The lighting is always changing, you can't stop time, so you do have to hone your skills and kind of understand what you're looking to achieve. The more you do it, the better you'll get. So like sunsets are always really nice effects. They give a nice warmth to the image and a nice glow to the surroundings. So we want to try and capture the last part of the sunset, squeeze as much life out of the sunset as we can. So like we're coming up to an area here, we could probably do one if we can, if it'll allow us to get the bloody camera out, for God's sake. Thank you, there we go. We could do a landscape here. It's just trying to get the framing. Okay, so we don't want to waste it. It's got a nice diagonal effect there. Sun's gone now. Okay, we have moved on to, I can't remember the name of the town, but we're there anyway. It's where all the posh people live. So here's a little tip for portraits. Look for colours and textures in the outdoor environments. Look at this. This is a really nice yellow wall. It will just add some nice punchy background to it. If I was doing outdoor portraits in real life, I would take my subject and would go for a walk around the neighbourhood. And you're looking for colour, texture, and you're looking for lighting. The light's always going to be changing, but the colour and the texture of the environments doesn't change. You just need to see and find the ones you like. You know, it can just, like, it adds something else to an image. So the yellow wall will just add a bit more vibrancy to the image. Okay, so we're just looking for some textures, or we're looking for people that look interesting, or a background that looks interesting. Maybe this guy, the one who's selling the newspapers. Can we do a quick sort of portrait? Let's try. So we've got a nice framing, so it's that diagonal sense of like getting a diagonal line across the framing, so it's like a leading image. So you've got the person in focus, and then you've got this whole kind of visual journey throughout the remainder of the image. What else can we do here? Let's have a look. So we've got some nice people with hats here. Can we take a good shot of them? I think the one on the right's the most interesting. It's just trying to wait for the right composition. Things are all passing, so can we find a nice shot? I like maybe the shot of the three of them. Yeah, we'll take that one and move on. Okay, well, that was a little bit of a mixed bag today. We did a few portraits, we did some landscape work. So like things about framing, look for that diagonal sense of a frame where you've got like a nice leading line of things in focus, things of interest. If you're doing portraits, look for background colour, look for texture, look for things that can add value. Also lighting. Lighting changes all the time, so every place in the game will look different the more you go there. It's a difficult game to take pictures in, I do admit. If you're not a photographer in real life, it can become a bit like, compared to other games, a bit of a challenge. So need a little bit of R&R here. He's just chilling out, and we will prepare, have a sleep, and we will head out. So with this kind of shot, you will probably just find the nice position and framing, and then you will just have to take 5 or 6 in quick succession, because you need to capture the right movement of the position for the character in the background, the position for the foreground character, because they're both always moving. So what you're looking for is focus on the main subject, which is us, obviously. Wait until we get just a few nice shots. So we'll do a few here, having the smoke blow out. The frame's nice, it's a nice double portrait, and it's just now a case of taking multiple shots until we feel like we've got enough. Within one of those is going to be good enough. Okay, I think we got one there. So we are in Annesburg, it's called one of those things. This is a really nice town. This is a very, very industrial location. Lots of labour, lots of pollution, lots of smoke, black soot. Really, really dynamically interesting kind of smoke effects. We have the old train. This could be a nice shot, get the train, the smoke, like the Industrial Revolution vibe to it. These could be good black and white edits when we eventually get round to editing these. I will be doing that at the end of the season. We just wait for this gentleman to walk past, and that's our first shot. So each town has got a different quality. Some are more beautiful, some are more industrial, some have got lots of nightlife, some have got lots of nature around. It's really just looking for things that interest you, because I would go to every camp and every town, because you just never know. Like here, you get some of this smoke in Saint Denis, but I think in Annesburg it's a lot more polluted. So we might try and do some shots of our character having a cigarette with all that smoke plume coming behind them, which would be kind of a nice metaphor. A nice metaphor visually of the two smoking things. Okay, so let's try and we need to try and elevate ourselves. So let's go up a hill. I think if we go up that little incline to the left, if we can get up there, we might be able to do something that would be vaguely interesting with the smoke. Okay, can we get up there? This little part down here, let's go here, because then we get a nice even height for the character and the smoke. That could work. Let's try that. So we probably want to do a self-portrait here, possibly around here, so we can get a nice clean sky. Let's try here. Okay, so we need to just get the right pose. So we want to have a cigarette or something. That's kind of a bit like that film with Daniel Day-Lewis, isn't it? Like when he's doing the oil. Similar, but not quite. Doesn't quite work. Let's having a cigarette. There we go. So this is just about framing. That's a nice shot with the smoke, all them smoke plumes. Okay, we are still in Annesburg, but the sun is setting, and we have a nice river here. So, what can we do? This first one, it's a little bit dark, so we might not work with this one. There are some trees around here that look kind of dead, and we could use them to frame some things, I think. Okay, we'll just wait for this boat. I think we've got that shot there. Okay, well, let's look for something else. Let's try and use these little bits of tree. The thing is, shooting through things is sometimes people don't do it, but when you shoot through things like trees, you can almost frame an image within the image. It can help you guide a kind of a frame where you can get something that's really impactful. So like here we have lots of boats. So let's, okay, these self-portraits, I don't think they're going to work on this bit. So let's abandon the self-portrait and we'll go with the camera the other side and see if we can use these kind of wooden elements to create a nice sort of eerie framing for some of the boats passing while the sun's there. We've got one on the left down there that looks interesting. We might have to go there and do a shot. Well, here we can do one. Let's zoom it in. And we'll wait for that boat to get into the middle of those two twigs. And when it's right in the middle, we'll take the shot. So it's got a nice symmetry to it. So now that should be a nice kind of warm silhouette. Let's move to this. Oh, this one could be good actually. Before we move. Okay. I think that one's nice. That's another sort of nice sort of leading action landscape, I guess you'd call it. I'm not sure. The silhouettes are always interesting. So let's get in here. Let's see, can we use this? Oh look, here we go. Wait. Can we get it on the next one? I should have took it first time. That's interesting. You've got really nice warm lighting. You've got the darkness. Are there more coming? Can we do another shot of it? Possibly. No, the moment's kind of gone there. But you can see what I mean. Because the light is in the distance, the twigs become dark. Because they're obviously showing you the shadows because you're this side of it. So they create silhouetted tree branches that are dead. They have an eerie quality. So if you want to have an eerie portrait, you could do one there on Red Dead Online with a friend. Sometimes when you take a picture, don't immediately run away, because you might actually stumble upon another one. Like can we frame this? That looks like a really atmospheric shot. We've got the guy on the bridge. Okay, he's gone now, but I'm sure someone else will appear. Because this isn't real life. Okay, so that's a good shot. We just need someone on the bridge. So this is like a real life shot. Often I would find a shot like this and just wait for the right person on the bridge. Okay, so we need something like that. We just need a person now. This is the waiting game you have to play. Hopefully someone will just walk past it. There's a guy. Oh, someone just glitched in. That was interesting. Okay, there's a guy there. Nice, okay. We've got, see the guy on the bridge, that's interesting. He's just standing there. This is almost like a portrait from a very long distance because it's kind of very intimate. He's just standing in this kind of melee of stuff. We'll get another one there. You see what I mean? It's like a really interesting environment and it's all leading. Like all of that stuff in the shot, but what are we looking at? All our eye is drawn straight to that guy amongst all of that stuff, and that's a really interesting shot. So I think we've got a couple of really nice ones there, but I think we'll leave this location for now. We're in the swampy area today, so this is always an interesting place because it's got lots of nice mist. So let's have a little look and see what we can find today. That's a screenshot you could do. I've just taken the camera down, so that's a kind of a nice shot on its own. Let's get the camera back out. Can we do another one? So there's lots of like semi-silhouetted trees because we've got the mist and the light source in the distance. We've got all these trees, so it's kind of warm. We've got the water, the swamp area. It's kind of just trying to frame a nice sort of mini landscape, I guess this one is. Yeah, I like that. That's just a kind of a nice warm sunset. Maybe we can go down a bit further. See, the sun's going down now. It's like, can we get one? I don't know. Sometimes you just have to say the environment won there, and we'll just take this shot and we'll move on to another place. Okay, so we had a little frustration in the last shot. I've got some blood on my hands. I won't say what happened. It wasn't me, Governor, honestly. I'm innocent. We're in the swamp. It's night time. It appears there's some old lady over here. Fortune teller, maybe? I don't know. So we'll see what we can do with her. We've got a nice moon. She's got some kind of like oil torch, and there's the mist on the swamp. So what can we do with it? So we can try and do a self-portrait with her, but again, the self-portrait issue continues. It's that finding the place for yourself so that you can be in a nice position with the other subject. When there's two people in the frame, they have to have a relationship in terms of visual elements, otherwise it just looks weird. So you have to find the composition, find the placement that gives both characters enough space to present themselves. Like, that's quite interesting because you've got moodiness there. Change position maybe. That's quite nice. You've got the nice light and it's kind of sinister, like what's he going to do in the background. We could try and get the moon in, but I think we can do maybe one shot like this. This looks quite nice. We just got to get the right poses. So the first thing is just finding the positioning, and then it's the poses. So I think we've got one here. So they'll take a couple of shots, have a little cigarette. See, with this situation, we've framed it, we've composed it, it's just waiting for movement now. It's like the shot we did in episode 1 with the guy with the hat in the pub. We just want her to have a position where it works and both characters to look right. So like now, that's a nice one with the arms out. Very, what you're looking for. See if we can take another one. So we've got one good one. Can we just do one of her solo? Because it's quite an interesting image, just this old lady with the light in the swamp. Maybe if we can get the moon in there as well. Hopefully the horse won't ruin it. So, nighttime, you've got plenty of time. So there's no, the sun isn't an issue. We've got quite a long window here to take a shot. That could be good, but it's just the angle's a bit weird. I'm not sure about that one. So let's come out a bit further back. And we'll try and get a wide-ish shot of her. We'll try and get the moon in if we can. The problem is the distancing, but I think we might have to just let the moon go on this one. Like, just get her in the swamp. So we'll put her sort of to one side a little bit. Just frame it with a hand in the air. That's kind of interesting. Could be a nice shot. So I think we're done with this lady. We'll give her $2 to give us a crap fortune, and then we'll move on. Okay, we're still in the swamps. So the moon is a very nice feature. It gives a nice soft night light. It kind of illuminates the area without being too bright. So what we're trying to do is, the moon is moving out through the frame, obviously. So we've got to find some way of taking a good shot of it. So in this situation, I'd look around for what's around you. Is there a building of some sort? Can we find somewhere to take a shot of it? So we've got this little cabin here. It has an elevated walkway, so we might, if we can get on that walkway, we could maybe use the moonlight with one of these torch lights and like double up. So we could have side light and moonlight together, which could be an interesting combination. So I don't know if we can do self-portraits here. Oh, we can. Okay, that's interesting. So the tripod's down in the swamp. It's an interesting angle. We've got the moon, we've got the torch. It's a nice light on the character, so we've got like side light there. We just need to sort of, what do we want to do? Do we want to wait for the moon to move? I think that's interesting. Quite nice. Let's get the lantern in, have a smoke. Okay, we'll just wait. The moon is in a nice position there. Maybe do another one. There. Okay. Very interesting because we've got double light sources. The moon is really dreamy. It's a full moon. It brings a silhouetted quality to the trees in the background. The soft, warm light from the lantern is bringing a nice sort of side light to the character. And then because we're shooting low to high, it has a sense of kind of scale to it. I don't know, it gives it more of an atmospheric scaling, like low to high. Can we do another one? Or maybe I'll just take a picture of the moon. So we just try and get a shot of the moon through the trees. So we can't really make this move any faster. So it's really just a waiting game. We just have to wait for that moon. Okay, that's much nicer. We've got a nice clean view of it. Okay, I think we've got one there. Let's try that. Almost there. Okay, warm, moonlight. Nice. Maybe try one more. We'll go up the stairs. It's getting light now, so we're kind of running out of time. So we've got to be fast. So we've put it in the little gap there. Moving across. Okay, so once it's kind of almost in the middle, we'll just take a shot and then we'll probably head on. Continue the journey. What else can we do? Let's have a look. Okay, that one, we couldn't really get one there. The carriage might be better. Let's see if we can get that. Okay, that's quite nice. Again, it's not ideal. It's just the positioning wasn't ideal there, but I think it's okay. Okay, so we're going to tear down the camp and we're going to see what we can do with this light. Sunrise and sunset, they create a nice warmth because they, you know, obviously, okay, we've got a little train here. Maybe we could do a little cheeky shot here when it gets to the left side of the frame. This is just a little spontaneous one. There you go. Maybe we'll go onto that bridge and see what we can do from that bridge, because we've got a nice long lake kind of area and a long bridge. So this is really nice because you've got the kind of silhouetted bridge, the trees, the eerie trees, the water, the kind of the little areas of mud sticking up out of the water. That is a really nice frame. What we would need is really like a bunch of horses running across it would be beautiful. It's obviously it's a train track, so we can't really get that. And the trains just come, so it's not really going to happen. But like just as a composition, I'm not going to take the photo. Like that's a nice shot, but if you could have a little more detail in there, something to give it a bit of resonance, a bit of a personal touch. Like if you had a person running across the bridge as a silhouette. There is a boat on the left here, but it doesn't really emphasize it. So we just took one there of the bird, but I think we'll just abandon this place. But that's an example of a nice shot using the light in the distance. So it's been another hard session of taking pictures. So we're going to freshen up and then have a snooze. But we've got this young lady here. She's positioned in a very sort of like a decadent room with the carpets, the picture frames, the light in the distance. So we'll try and, just to wrap it up, we're trying to get a nice little atmospheric shot of her. Again, it's got that kind of leading line from the one corner to the other. So we get the light, okay. Okay, so we'll take one there probably, or we'll wait for the next one. Okay. Okay, so today we've used sunrise, we've used a bit of sunset, we've shot at night. Night times are interesting because the lanterns spread around the environments are very interesting. And they can definitely add atmosphere. Okay, so that wraps up another chapter. The Bayou, like the swamp area and Saint Denis, are just fantastic locations to take pictures. I'd recommend them.
Someone tried to buy a rum with pennies?
So it's the last episode, so we're going to have a rummage around Saint Denis. But first and foremost, I think my character's outfit looks a bit old, so we're going to go and get some new threads. Okay, so we have a nice little dark trousers, kind of a grey charcoal jacket, waistcoat, white shirt, black tie, a little sort of peaky blinders cap, and some gloves. So I think we're ready to rock. Let's see what we can do. Let's get that camera out and try not to punch anyone in the face. Okay, so we've got some 2 or 3 chaps here that are having a little smoke, little tea break. Nice shadows behind them. It's again, this is one of those things when you're doing a portrait of 3 people, it's even more complicated because you've got to wait for all 3 to have the best position that you're looking for. So you need to do a number of different shots and just have patience. You just watch them, watch the sequence of their actions, and then when you've got that combination, once it's the right combination, just take that shot. But it might take a few efforts, so you even do solos of each if you think it's worth it. I think as a 3 they work best because it's more. That's a nice one. That's another one. That's probably the winner, I think. So yeah, good shot. Let's move on. Okay, so I had a little quick wardrobe change just to sort of mix up the images, just to change the outfits for the self-portrait. So I'm by the barber shop. We have some nice light coming down the street, so we just need to try and find a position. It's difficult on these narrow streets because you can't always do self-portraits, but we seem to have one here. This is nice because we have all these graduated signs in the background, so it kind of shows a journey of the street in the signs. We have a nice light on the character. It's kind of bold and bright. We just maybe kind of need to frame it. We can get the horse in, get a little bit of the street in. We've got a guy on a balcony in the distance. It's kind of interesting, and we get that sign. So it's like an advert for the hairdressers. So we just wait for that lady to walk out shot. Take a shot here probably. Get the right shot. Have another cigarette for a change. That's only about 4,000 a day. There we go. Can do that one. We'll probably do 1 or 2 more. It's just a nice simple portrait with lots of detail in the background. It gives it real context, and it's a nice light. You know, the light is kind of side quarter light. Gives it a nice atmosphere. So I think we've got a good one there. Okay, the sun is in a nice position. We have this very long street with the trees. So this is really nice. We have a nice position of the light. The trees are kind of semi-silhouetted. We just need to center ourselves, and then we need to probably wait for something to come through in the distance. Maybe some sort of horse or carriage. I think the tram is just too much of a sort of like a square oblong shape. We need something that has a little bit more definition. Like this looks good. Bang. Very nice. Bang center. It's kind of misty silhouette in the distance. Mystery. This is a good example of how you can frame subjects centrally because you have a symmetry all around. You know, it's both sides of the image are symmetrical, as in they both look the same, and they both lead you down into the center, as does the pathway. The light brings a definition to it. So I think the posters here look nice. We have the brick wall, we have the kind of artwork. So we'll just come to the right a little bit. Okay, we'll go to the left a touch just to maybe get it just about right. I think that's good. Look, we're right in the middle there. So it has a balance. It feels like we can see all the posters, we can see ourselves, the character. We got the brick wall, we got the light coming in from the right to left down the big avenue. So we could do one of him looking at the poster if we wanted. I think we'll go for our favourite shot, the cigarette. Why not? Or arms crossed. It's a nice shot. We get the light on the gun as well. It's kind of shiny on the metal. I think we'll get a cigarette out soon because, you know, it's about that time of day, isn't it? There, that's a nice shot because look, we've got that line up in the frame, the diagonal line leading up the path. So we might get some interesting characters walking towards us. We have the trees, we have the house, lanterns, brick wall, posters. We've got these 2 ladies now. The far one looks kind of creepy because it's silhouetted a bit. So maybe when she gets a little bit closer, we'll do a couple of shots there. Maybe now, maybe now. His position's wrong. Here, bang. That's the shot. Not too bad, not too bad. Maybe we'll do one close up before we finish. Go on, have another little smoke on that quickly. Go on. There we are. That's a good one. Nice atmospheric. Okay. Good example there of using the environment, the posters, the wall. What else can we do? I like this part. This part of town's very interesting. Let's see what more we have. Using some of the sort of sunset with flowers is interesting because this is kind of a nice frame. It's kind of a pretty kind of red, pink, purples, greens. It's just trying to find a composition that, you know, you can get the character in, get a nice setting, a nice scene. And it's all about, photography is all about setting a scene. Saint Denis is great for that because Saint Denis has got so much depth, it's unbelievable. I would recommend just spending like weeks down here, like in real time, if you want to do photography, because it's all here. Little peeping Tom there in the bush, that'd be nice. Oh, that's a nice shot. So we've got the kind of mist, cigarette, flowers, moody, the nice outfit. Change back to that. We need a graveyard, so we're gonna see what we can do in the graveyard. See if there's any kind of interesting architecture. What are these two idiots talking about? Oh, if I had any energy, I'd slap you guys right in the face. Oh, ooh, scared. So scared. I'm gonna run away. We might be able to turn around and use the archway to take a picture because the archway is very dark. It's like a dark frame from a light image, so we could potentially shoot these two chaps. So that's quite nice. You've got the nice shadows, the light, the texture of the walls. You've got the silhouetted design on the gate. You have the steps with a nice sort of line shadow. That's a nice shot. Let's get one here and then we'll move into the cemetery. There you go. Nice, clean, crisp. So we were elevated here. This is quite nice. So we've just crouched and possibly crouching. We've got the side light from the left to the right. So it's nice, soft daylight, bit of tree action. We've got the kind of the statue in the distance. This could be a shot that's fairly interesting. So we'll probably take one or two of this. Okay, that's the statue on its own. We're going to try and recomposition it, frame it, so we can get a little bit of the graveyard in, just to kind of like a atmosphere shot, just of what we're doing. It's not probably as interesting as having a character in it. It just sets the scene, just shows you where we are. Okay, so we're on the concrete part next to the statue. So now, I like the statue, so we can get one of us looking at it maybe. That would be nice and moody and kind of like atmospheric. Or we can get one of us just standing in front of it. So it's really just preferences. Nice detail on the statue. Because we're shooting low to high, the tripod is low, the statue is high, and we're high, so we're going to get a nice framing of it. So that could be a good shot. It's a difficult composition because we're very close to the object. But we'll take that shot there. We'll maybe change our position a little, just to get a different shot. See, as you can see, the feet change depending on where like how you pose your character. So he's got his leg up now here, like on one platform and one on the lower. That's kind of nice. It gives a nice different context to the shot. So we'll do one shot here of him having a little smoke with the angel or whatever it is. You know, not too bad, but I think we're going to move on now. Maybe we'll do one more of him like that. That's quite nice. Okay, we are done here. Okay, I've just jumped on a train, headed up to Valentine, reminisce about chapter 1. So we're kind of coming up to the end of the episode now. So I've told you how to take some pictures with all the functionality, but there is another way of taking pictures in this game. You can use the cinematic camera, so I'm going to demonstrate that before we finish the series. Just having some, I don't know what I just ate, but you edit very quick, so have a little snooze and then we're off in the morning to finish the chapter. Hello, so this is cinematic camera. So if you press the center button in, the kind of the touchpad, after a few seconds a little circle will fill and there will be black borders on the image. And then you will basically have a third person camera that will constantly change like this. So you can't always use it, but it can basically give you a nice different shot, atmospheric shot where you could maybe take something interesting. It's worth trying, but it's not really you taking a picture. It's more like a cutscene. So It's not something you necessarily could take credit for, but it's another little trick, so try it out. So I've really enjoyed this series. I hope it's been useful for everybody. I think I've kind of fell in love with Red Dead again by doing it, and I think we've learned how lots of little tricks we can use, and I hope you've enjoyed it. All I would say about the photography in this game is you need to be patient. You need to have time. Don't rush it. Take your time. So I've taken a lot of shots, but I have one more shot to take, and it's not a photograph. But to sum the series up, I think we've covered a lot of interesting elements. I think we've shown how to use the camera, the self-portrait camera, the first-person camera, like without any HUD, the cinematic camera here. We could take shots of this. This is very scenic. So it's been a great series. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you have too. But now it's time to settle some old scores and wrap it up. So thank you for watching.